Proverbs chapters 1 and verse 5. A man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakakodash, giving double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutes to all the 144,000 elect out there. We are back at you with another lesson. So, yep, a wise man will hear and increase in learning. Yet a wise man will hear and increase in learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. In contrast, 24, 22. How long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in the scorning? Yep, there's a holy for scorning, and we're in that year, 2026, the year of agents, apostates, and sellouts. And many a people be scorning. Even still, it's depleted though, because this truth is really taking on another level, going on, ramping up to another level. But you have certain people still scoffing, insist on scoffing, and there must be a real reason why. Obviously, the bag and prominence and clout. So, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? They hate knowledge. How long? Right? So that's the contrast of the wise increasing in learning. And what led me to this, to do this video, and to get into some of these wise words here. Who walked the earth? The wise man King Solomon, right? And Yahushai, right? One of the same wise men that walked the earth. There's no comparison. But we had some, every they say a broken clock be right twice a day. But yeah, it's some wise word with I went into it a little while ago with Yoda, that philosophical approach to mind over matter. And a lot of fighters, warriors, a lot of boxers, a lot of martial artists have that philosophical approach. You might say out of the box approach. And he had a quote here: a wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. All right? That's where here I came up to do in this video. That wise quote from Bruce Lee was known as a philosopher. Once again, the philosophical approach to the martial arts. He was very successful in his short-lived time. Hence, he was taken out. There's reasons, things have been said why he was taken out by the triads. Many things came out. But the point of this video is, yep, a wise man can learn from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise question. That is true. There's some truth in that. Hence why I read this. All right. So fools never learn. Another way of saying it is fools will never learn. Fools despise knowledge. Right. It leads me into reading some of my favorite proverbs here. Wisdom's warnings. Wisdom warns. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates in the city. She uttereth her words, saying, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? Right, that was true what he said. And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Yeah, that was true. There was some truth in that. What he said is another one to back up that. Matthew 7 and 6 says, give not that which is holy unto dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. Yep. For those of us that when we was earlier young in the truth, we learned that. Some of us maybe have experienced that. There's certain people you can talk to on a certain level, but we got a high level of wisdom that's been taught to us by our elders and apostles. And their elders and apostles, their elders taught them, and they passed it down to us. High level. So we have to be mindful, how we're dealing with these people. As a matter of fact, there's something that the Most High said about these people. From the wise words, let's get back to Proverbs 1 something that was said about these people. It says in 22, let's read, we read 22, let's read 23. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called you, you refused. Right? That's why we don't throw our pearls to swine. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regardeth. But you have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. Right. Cast your pearls not to swine. A fool has said in his heart, there is no God. So what is the go on to say? 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Yep. For all those that took a bag, all those that don't want to accept the MOTB, when it's so blatantly the mark of the beast, right? The charagma, right? It's going to be literal. It's literal, not spiritual. It's not sin. It's not the white woman. It's something that is taken in the skin, beneath the skin, charagma. So, Mosai, when it come, and them going to take it, they're going to get they're going to receive, as it says in Revelation 16, they're going to receive all the spoils, right? Whatsoever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. The bowls, right? The sea, they're going to get that, right? The results of lack of faith. And the Most High said what? He said, go and laugh at them. So that's why we don't throw our pearls to swine. Ultimately, the fools hate knowledge, right? Back to this quote. A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. So the Most High be calling them fools. The wise man King Solomon, through his wise quotes. Now this was true, what he said. Once again, that philosophical approach to martial arts. And there was a recent question that was asked to another warrior in the boxing circle, Chris Eubank, and they asked him they asked him a question: are you crazy? Yeah, right. This is what a lot of the answer was, and he was known for his out of the box approach to boxing, his philosophical approach to boxing, just like a lot of successful fighters, warriors. And he said, "Yeah, I have to be crazy to become champion. You have to be crazy," and it's true, right? But in their own kind of way, in their, to master that frame of mind of fighting, you have to have that mind over matter. It's not just about physical strength, it's also about mental strength and a whole lot of self-belief. But eventually, once again, he was taken out via, many people have different things have been said why he was taken out. He didn't live a long life, Bruce Lee. And some say it was by the triads, the mafia, the Chinese mafia. But nobody don't get deleted innocently. That we do know. So it rings true. It does ring true what he said. Yeah. Once again, let's go back to it. How long will you simple ones ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Yeah, you got a lot of so-called educated people, well-read people, right? Well-read people, and there's a scripture to also back that up in. You've got these Christians also. It's 2 Timothy 3:7. Ever learning but not attaining to knowledge. So-called universities, college, Christianity, people like Vocab Malone, the likes of Vocab Malone, so-called Christians, ever learning but not attaining to knowledge, and they come under the banner of scoffers as well. And that's why the Most High says, do not give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls to swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. Right, so there's a lot of truth in some of these, some of these wise quotes. By the hence likes of Yoda, you know what I mean? He spoke about the dark side and the force. I've done a video on that recently. Wisdom, faith, and power. Because if you gain wisdom, it strengthens your faith, and then you have more power, right? Through Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. And there's going to be things that we're going to be able to do. Hence, we grow in that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and faith that are going to be supernatural. So here's another quote that I like. It says, emotion can be the enemy. If you give unto your emotions, you lose yourself. Right, yeah? A good boxer keeps his emotions in checks. Good boxer, good martial artist, warrior, they know how to keep their emotions in check. They stick to their routine. They're almost robotic. Their routine, their regime, their routine. They're almost robotic in the way they approach their martial arts or any form of combat. Almost robotic, like programmed as far as the nutrition that they take in their bodies, as far as the exercise, and it's very routine and monotonous. But when they get in the ring, you see the results. They get their hands raised. That's all they're programmed to do in their minds. Get their hands raised. So because the body always follows the mind, right? So if you give unto your emotions, right? If you give unto your emotions, you lose yourself. You must be at one with your emotions because the body always follows the mind. Emotions can be the enemy. So is there scriptures to back that up? Let's read. There is. Right? But we're talking about on the right hand side here. The contrast, the upright and the wicked. Right? We're going to come at it from the scriptures. Right? What was said about emotions, yeah? First of all, let's read Proverbs 16 and 31. It says, the hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. So, if it be found in the way of righteousness, it's a crown of glory, right? That comes from the Most High Himself, right? You're talking about the grey hair, which is a symbol of wisdom, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be grey hair. It can just be in your daily life, the way you use your wisdom. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. You put it into practice. Once again, speak to, you know, when you look at some of these successful warriors, athletes, whatever you want to call them, they use the method that is necessary, right? Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But it does work. It does get results, and you can see the results when you go into their archives. So, the hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. He that is slow to anger is better than better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Right? That's what we're dealing with right now. Right? Right now, in the way of disclaimer, we ain't gonna do nothing. We're in control. As a matter of fact, let me say it right. The Most High is in control. Right? The Most High is in control. And He's got everything written. Everything. This is His movie. He is the writer, the scripter, right? The governor. What else? The writer, the scripture. He's got the actors under His total control. So that's in way of understanding. Yeah. Let me read it again. Proverbs 16 and 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. Right? In contrast, let's go back to that. Emotion can be the enemy. If you give unto your emotions, you lose yourself. You must be at one with your emotions because the body always follows. Yeah? That reminds me of the quote of Yoda. Fear leads to anger. If you want to if you want to have control of the force, you mustn't be in fear. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to suffering. So, yep. Back to the scriptures. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Is there power in controlling your emotions? Right? That's where wisdom comes in. Wisdom will help you to control your emotions. Once again, we have to keep on asking. If that's one of our weaknesses, keep on asking and it shall be given. Keep on knocking and we shall receive. Here, this is the contrast of the upright and the wicked. Right? Because the wicked are led by our wicked emotions. They're led by the ways of the world. They're led by vices, all the different types of vices. That's what controls them. That's what leads them. Right? And they end up succumbing to them. Even once successful, accomplished individuals, some of them, they even gave way to the vices, their emotions. Yep, that's the weakness of the flesh. But if we endure to the end, we continue to keep praying, keep on asking, and it shall be given. Keep on knocking, and the Most High. As a matter of fact, I'm saying it. Let me get back to it. Matthew 7:6 says, "Pray and yep, 7:7 says, ask and it shall be given, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. Everyone that asketh receiveth." Right, going back to faith, right? Because faith, lack of faith is a disobedience, actually, when you get into it, which I went into that on that video. Faith, wisdom, and power. The lack of faith is actually disobedience to the Most High. So the opposite to that is faith is complying to the Most High. Is faithfulness to the Most High. Right? For everyone that asketh, and it's saying it here too, asketh, receive, and he that seeketh, findeth, and to him that knocketh, it shall be opened. And we're going to be doing, once again, we're going to be doing some things, man. Right? Some supernatural things. The more we grow in that faith, as what Yehoshua said, if you have faith the size of a mustard grain, right, you're going to move mountains. You're going to move mountains, and that's not an overstatement. That's what Yehoshua said himself in red letters. Once again, the video I did. Faith, wisdom, and power. Faith is ultimately power, right? And that's why we exercise it, to get to that stage. So he that is, once again, Proverbs 16:32, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. So they're admirable, right? Trump taking Venezuela, right? The president Nicolas Maduro, right? He believed that was an act of strength. In actual fact, it was an act of weakness, right? An act of weakness motivated by greed when you get into it. But where is strength? Once again, he that is slow to anger is, and to be slow to anger, it means understanding that there is a time and a place for everything. Ecclesiastes 3, right, goes into that. There's a time and a place for everything, and right now we have to wait, and we're waiting patiently. Wait thee upon me, Yehovah Shem Yoshai. He says, wait thee upon me, and he gonna rise up to the prey. So there is a time for everything. So applying wisdom, there is power in applying wisdom. Because when it's your time, you're going to be on and popping. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. But right now they got the National Guards out there, you got ICE out there, people just giving in to their emotions. Eventually they're getting beaten up, lumped up, and locked up. That's a video. Right? Lack of faith leads to getting beaten up, lumped up, and locked up. Those people getting mistreated by us. They're complaining. A lot of them ain't complying, agreeing with their adversary, right? Not in control of their emotions. Hence, what do we do at times like this? We just continue in our assignments, in our faith and loyalty to the Most High. He says He tell us what to do, and we do it, right? With the power and the spirit of the Most High, and wait upon Him, because He's going to rise up to the prey. He sees everything, right? And that leads me into a future video. He sees everything, the violence and the perversion of justice, yet there is somebody higher than Him, right? Quoting that loosely paraphrasing. There is always someone higher than him, perverting of justice and judgment. But there is he that is higher than him. So the Most High see all of that. So we have to be slow to anger, and we are. We're applying it, Lord willing, and we want to apply it until Yahushua return. Everything is in place for us, as we see. The digital currency is in place, and has been said and has been noted, there are people walking around with the MRTV in them, the Charagma in them, Revelation 13. So the prophecies are here. They're unraveling nicely on time. They're not tarrying. Yeah? Once again, I read it for those out there. I read it for myself. Proverbs 16 and 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Kala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kwa Kodash. So I just wanted to get into and bring out some of this. Right, we don't put the scriptures aside. The Most High comes. There's no part of the scriptures that we put aside. The usefulness of Proverbs and putting it into practice. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So what is knowledge? What is wisdom? The application of knowledge. Wisdom is the application of knowledge, so it is useful to us. Right? The usefulness of Proverbs. Which who wrote, for the most part, the Proverbs? The wisest man that walked the earth. So we're going to end with this one. Ecclesiastes 9 and 16 says, Then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Yep, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. Right, that's true. That's true. Right, our elders and apostles, for the most part, you got people highly revering folly, because folly is setting great dignity. They're not revering wisdom. Right, our elders and our apostles. For the most part, there's a lot of scoffers that come against our elders and our apostles. So wisdom is not. Wisdom is despised. Let me get into that word there. There's quite a few words in that one there. Let's get into them. So it's better than strength, right? We know for the most part. H 1369. Wisdom is better than strength. Yep. Strength, valor, bravery. Right? Solomon. What did Solomon ask for? He didn't ask for strength. He didn't ask for wealth. He didn't even ask for the necks of his enemies. He asked for wisdom. And what did the Most High give him? He gave him all the above. Yep. He gave him victory. He gave him wealth. He gave him the enemies of the necks of his enemies. And he gave him power. So, yeah. We know that wisdom is valuable. Wisdom is very valuable. Useful. Proverbs, the usefulness of Proverbs. Wisdom is very highly valuable. Right? The elect, we're going to esteem it. Lord willing, the hopeful elect, we're going to esteem that wisdom. It is better than strength. Because, once again, King Solomon asked for the right thing. And the Most High gave him everything else. So it is better than strength. Yeah? Here's another word here. Despised. Wisdom is despised. H 9:59. Despised, hold in contempt. Yep. And people who have a certain way about them, like our prophets, right, and our elders and our apostles, a lot of people did despise the prophets because they walked and they condemned the world by their words and also by their actions. It was because they had wisdom. So there was a lot of contempt and jealousy. Right? And what did they do to a lot of the prophets? Apostle Peter was hanged. Hanged. He wanted to go upside down. Paul was beheaded, just to name a few, because of the contempt that they had for the wise prophets that walked the earth, that condemned the world. Noah was scorned and mocked, the one that built the ark. Right? But that's how it comes. That's how this truth is despised. That's why you got scoffers. Well, the Most I had something to say about them. He said he's going to laugh at them. When we went into it in Proverbs chapter 1. When their calamity come, he said he's going to laugh at them. But yeah, you despise now. laugh now. What's that saying? Laugh now and we'll be laughing later. Something to that effect. He who laughs last laughs best. Yep. And the Most High is going to get the last laugh. That's really the point. That's really the point. So that's what I wanted to get into, some of those quotes. There's truth in them. Emotion can be the enemy. Yep, that's true. Emotion can be the enemy. But a wise man has control over his emotions. And wisdom is better than a mighty. Wisdom is better than strength. I've got to read it again. Yeah. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. There's truth in that. Yeah. Wisdom is the words of a wise man is heard in quiet more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. Yep. One sinner destroyeth much good. Emotion can be the enemy. If you give unto your emotions, you lose yourself. One sinner can destroy much good. Wisdom is better than the weapons of war, but one sinner can destroy much good. You can't make this up. Beautiful. The Wadeo Bashim Yoshai. Kala Yahweh Bashem Yoshai Bashem Bakar Kodash. A wise man can learn more that from the foolish question. From a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. In a nutshell, a fool destroyeth much good. Yeah, a fool don't like nothing. A fool despiseth knowledge. And the fools have their place, right? The jesters, they have their place in life, which is to crack jokes and just act and despise wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Folly is set in great dignity, but wisdom is better than the weapons of war. Yep, but wisdom is better than the weapons of war, but one sinner destroyeth much good. The warrior Bashim Yoshai, Kala Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, Bashem Bakar Kodash. Yep, to the next one.